Still in Alaska? Yep, unfortunately. We're gonna move out at some point. We only need one more Prime sub, and then we can afford to leave Alaska. Quickly, save a ginger today. I'm actually pretty stoked to get out of here, I'm not gonna lie. Tired of society, ready to move to Alaska and fish your days away? Well, here's the thing about that. You better like ice fishing, brother, or else you're gonna be fishing about 2 months of the year. Keep in mind, Alaska's dope in concept, but if you've never been here, do not move here without visiting first, and visit in the winter, because that will be 99% of your experience. What's the craziest thing you've seen living in Alaska? I was 30 miles approximately north of of basically the last road on a snow machine in a blizzard. And there was 2 tourists on rented snow machines wearing jeans with a suitcase on the back of their snow machine. And when we're like, what the f are you guys doing out here? Because we were on the way to a cabin on the side of a lake that we had. And we're like, what are you guys doing out here? Like, you need to go home. They didn't have any extra fuel, which is immediately like, oh, shit, you guys don't know what you're doing. You don't have fuel. Like, you go anywhere without extra fuel on a snow machine, it's like, good luck, dude. And even we ran out of fuel during it. We had to huddle together for 6 hours while we siphoned all the fuel into one machine, and the guy had to go to the cabin to get the extra fuel. So it was like, it was not a good idea. So we saw these tourists, and we're like, what the f are you guys doing? And they're like, we're out here to find the buffalo. We're like, what do you mean you're out here to find the buffalo? You can find them like at a park, bro. Like, just go to the fucking zoo. Like, what are you doing? He's like, no, we heard there's herds of buffalo. But these numbnuts literally ended up dying. I was young, I was in high school, went back to school, and when we got back there, one of the friends was on the trip like, bro, have you seen this? And he like brings up a newspaper, and it's like, 2 tourists lost, presumed dead. So somewhere you can dig up a news report about 2 tourists literally dying trying to find buffalo or something on snow machines. So, yep. You don't want to fuck around Alaska. That's when the seriousness of where I lived set into me. They went to a spot that they really should not have been. Alaska? Oh, you can go to Alaska as a tourist, no problem. Just don't rent snow machines and drive out in the middle of nowhere wearing basically no clothes. We tried to talk. The thing is well, I say we, but really it was our guide with us that was trying to talk to him. He's like, you don't understand. You need to go home. Like, you're in danger. And they basically blew us off as dumbass locals. What's even more depressing is the same guy who was our tour guide. He was actually, it was my friend's birthday, okay? That's what it was. It's his dad was a tour guide. And his dad literally died doing one of those things later. Like doing another one of those guides. So it's like, and he's experienced, and he built a cabin like by flying in wood and the whole thing. So it's like, you can't, like, when I realized all that shit, I'm like, you really cannot fuck around up here. Like, you have experienced veterans that know what they're doing in this area. They're dying. That's when I stopped fucking around with snow machines. I don't mind going out in the summer on a four-wheeler or a dirt bike or something, because, like, I can, you know, if I go 15 miles out, I can walk back, all right? My bike breaks, all right, yeah, it sucks. It's a long-ass hike, but, you know, I'm going to live, unless I run into a moose or something. I can hike 15 miles. If I break down 15 miles in snow in the dead of winter, like, I'm dead. Like, there's no getting out of there. What's number one way people kill themselves in Alaska? Fucking with the moose, easily. No question asked. It's easily fucking with the moose. You have tourists that come up here, and to be fair, moose look like a big friendly dog. Like, they look like they would be friendly. But you go up to them, and they're very much not friendly, dude. The moose are like a surefire way to get stomped into the ground, and they weigh like 2 tons. They're enormous, and they're fluffy. So you're like, oh, it's a big, fluffy, enormous, cuddly bear. And you go to, like, pet the moose, because people literally do that. And the moose are just sitting there grazing. They look like cows or something. And then, guess what? The moose is huge enough that when it lifts its leg, it doesn't have to lift it very hard to step on you. They're enormous. So you have some dumbass tourist literally every year will come here and be like, oh, look at the 3-ton monster. I'm going to go pet that 4-ton monster. And then the 5-ton monster steps on them and they die. Happens every year up here. They stand in rivers too, and you think they're swimming? Yeah, like they can stand in that shit. They also can run like faster than you can drive your machine, dude. They're going to outrun you. They're not these big, clumsy, slow dinosaurs. Like, they quite literally will outmaneuver you. There's videos of people, like, blasting on a snow machine as fast as they can go, and there's just a moose just going, like, 45 miles an hour in a full-on sprint through, you know, 6 feet deep snow. It's like, Jesus. Holy shit. A literal monster. Monsters are real. They just don't look like monsters. They look like cuddly, fuzzy dogs. Rule of thumb, respect nature and leave it alone. Or at least respect the threat of it. It's always the dudes that come up here to Alaska are like, I'm going to explore Alaska. And then they forget that people that have lived in Alaska their whole life haven't had the chance to explore all of Alaska because of the expense of the equipment, and the threat that comes with it and the amount of knowledge needed. It's like there's people that'll live their whole life in Alaska and not get to do what Alaska has to offer because of the barriers to entry of Alaska. And you have these people that have set in like a city their entire lives, never even set on a quad or anything, will come up here and then just be like, I'm going to rent in a machine and then go to the glacier. And it's like, what are you guys doing? God bless them, because they make for hilarious entertainment. When you actually go to the sand dunes out here, there's people trying to get to the glacier literally every year. And there's this giant river. It's not giant. It's actually not too bad. It's pretty minor in terms of like actual threat. But there's a pretty decent river that's like wide and sandy. And so what happens is you can always tell them, because they got the stickers on them, they'll go out there with their rented quads or their trucks or whatever the fuck they rented, and they'll be like, I bet I can get across that river. And you can get across the river. The thing is, you can get across the river. Like, it's really not, like, you can walk across, you can faux send across. If you know what you're doing, you can get across the river. But these dudes do not know what they're doing. So they'll go out there, and they won't take off their pants and shirt and then walk across to find where the hose are. They're just like, this looks like a good place. And then they just hit the gas, and then they just hope for the best. And the best never comes, because that's not how it works. Like, there's hose everywhere. You have to find out where the hose are. So you always see it in the truck, and then just whoop, and then just the front end just disappears. And they're, oh no, who could have ever predicted this? Every time, dude. And then of course they'll be more scared because now the front end's in. So instead of like just stopping and then waiting to get towed out backwards by someone else with it, they'll, oh no, so they hit the gas more, right? And so, of course, they have the 4x4 on because they think that, okay, I gotta have the 4x4 on crossing the river. Then the front end digs into the hole more, and then the front sinks more. So then they get some leverage, and it kicks out a little bit, and then the back end hits the hole, and now you're fucked. Because then the exhaust goes under, and you hear them just panicking because they can't let up the exhaust because all the air pressure is keeping the water out. But as soon as they, and then they have to let it up because it, they can't just sit there and it's digging the hole deeper and deeper from it spinning in the sand. It's sinking more and more. So then they let off the foot, and then it gets flooded. And now you done fucked up. And then they sit there for the next 4 hours waiting for someone to stop laughing and to help them out of the hole. Happens literally every time. Snow machining in Alaska fun? I mean, I don't like it because of what I mentioned, which is it's fucking cold. There's a threat level to it. It takes a lot of equipment. So, like, you're going to need to be bundled very warmly. A lot of times you want, like, electric hand grips and all this shit. You're going to have a trailer or at least a big enough truck that you can put a snow machine in the back of it. Very often you don't want to go out alone, or if you do go out alone, then you need extra fuel and a GPS locator and someone who knows you're out there. Like, there's so many stupid things you have to do with snow machining. I don't like it. For me, I have a very simple thing, which is when I'm in the mood to do something, I want to immediately do it. I don't want to plan something 3 weeks in advance and then go out there with a fuckload of stuff just to keep me alive. I just want to go do the thing I want to do. So that's why I have a motorcycle, and I only get to do the motorcycle in the summer, which is a bummer. But instead, when I'm in the mood, I just hop on my little bike and I buzz around the streets, and then I go back inside. So go to Alaska during the middle of winter in my normal clothes, rent a quad, go the glacier in the middle of nowhere, tell nobody where I'm going and looking for a moose to pet. Got it. Yep, if you want to do a speed run of all of the things that the people that visit here do, then absolutely, you're ahead of the curve, my friend. You've got your list.